Hello, YouTubers, friends, and patriots, bootleggers, shills, dead slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals, meat sacks, and film addicts. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome, and I'm going to do a video about David Lynch. David Lynch, a very visionary director, a very peculiar director, died yesterday at the age of 78, and it really hits home. He was definitely older and was due, and was a lifelong smoker, although we don't know what the cause of death is, but I have to note the passing. Over the last 20 years, I've done a lot of videos on musicians and artists and directors who passed on as part of my repertoire, as it were. And some of my most popular videos are actually musicians who died. People like that better than my political videos. But I'm going to make note of David Lynch because he had a huge effect on my life. Back in 1978, I saw Eraserhead for the first time at a midnight movie. It ran almost every night at midnight at a local theater, and I saw that movie, and I really wasn't sure what I was watching. I thought it was both disturbing and gorgeous, and it made a huge impact, and it made my view of what could be done with film broaden considerably. And I wasn't let down by his later work. Of course, he did that film when he was still in college, and a lot of it was improvised, and it's a singular film, to be sure. But his movies after that were equally impressive, and he's one of those directors who personally is just as peculiar as his movies. He was the real thing, and he had a great sense of humor, and he was a very strange character, a very unique character, a very eccentric character, and it shows in his films. Blue Velvet came out, and I saw the premiere when I was visiting New York City, and it was stunning. I felt like I was in a church with people going there to see the movie, and it was amazing, and still is. Blue Velvet is one of my favorite films of all time, and I was blessed to be able to talk to Dennis Hopper at one point, who was a hero of mine after seeing that movie. But a wondrous achievement. And then, of course, he did Elephant Man. He was contacted by Mel Brooks, of all people, a comedian, who wanted David Lynch to direct that film, and he just did a stunning job. It's a beautiful and heartbreaking film with incredible performances, incredible cinematography, and again, a one-of-a-kind movie, maybe one of his most accessible movies. Then he did a big blockbuster for De Laurentiis, his version of Dune, and one doesn't normally think of that as a Lynch film in some ways, but it had a lot of actors that he liked to work with, including Kyle MacLachlan, and it was a great interpretation, a great sci-fi film on its own, and thankfully it's loaded with a lot of eccentricities due to David Lynch directing it. And then he went on from there to make a lot of movies that are somewhat mixed in some ways. Wild at Heart and Lost Highway both have a lot of moments of greatness, although are inconsistent in some ways. And then he had some really great, stunning movies later in his career. Um, Inland Empire and Mulholland Drive. I think Mulholland Drive is probably his most successful movie, in a lot of ways. It's most accessible. And Inland Empire was just a wondrous film once again. And so my hat's off to David Lynch, a singular director. Every one of his movies, kind of like Kubrick and a few others, are just have his fingerprints all over them and his peculiar vision. They're wonderful movies in every way, from the look of the films, the feel of the films, the cinematography, the actors he chose, um, the soundtracks, all just really great stuff. So David Lynch, you will be missed. I'm a huge film addict on top of everything else I'm interested in, and he had a gigantic place in my film library and my collective memories about film throughout history. Just a wonderful, wonderful director and a really, really interesting man. So you will be missed. Rest in peace, David Lynch. I'm Useful Idiot. Don't you be one too.